up everybody, welcome to the Project X channel. So here's a little update on the RS125. I thought I'd give you all an update on RS125 because I should be out on this bike yet. I have been working and test riding it in between the rainy weather. I found a couple of issues. One, the free play of the clutch wasn't set correctly. It was too tight, so it was just riding on the clutch. The other issue is the gear ratio is pretty crap. When I've adjusted the clutch, it still feels like it's revving out too early. The gears are short, so I've got myself a rear sprocket and a front sprocket to address that. Also, last time I took it out, it kind of lost power when it hit the power band, and I could hear a rattling coming from the engine. Straight away that says to me that the power valve has come off the cable, so I'm going to have a look at that now, and then we're going to fix the swing arm, because as I was changing the sprocket kit, the chain adjuster on the left hand side is just snapped off, so I'm going to get that fixed. Okay, let's take a look.
Right, as suspected, the power valve blade is definitely rattling. The cable's come off. Now, I tensioned it to how it should be, so just stuck that on the cable and giving it a pull by hand, and it pops out of there. It pops out straight away, so that is worn in there. The power valve is fine, but this is worn. The cable won't grip it, so I'll show you, see if I can do a demo. Look at that, it doesn't grip it. See that? Very little force. Hook that round there, straight out. So this is either worn on the power valve or the cable tip is worn. I have two options here. Cable's nice and oops, gone. So the cable's slack, it's not tight, doesn't feel frayed or anything like that. What I can do is either buy another power valve blade, or just get my bloody welder out, alley weld that up and drill another hole in there, which should cure that problem. But we don't want to be melting that, do we, or warping it, so I could have a look at the power valve cables first, see if I can get another end on there, do something with that, because the cable's fine, it's nice and loose, it's not old, and I don't know if that is actually worn. It could be, so I'm going to take them both off, study them a little bit, and see where I'm going to go with it. So I could clean that up and weld that up and just drill another hole in there. This damn thing will focus. Drill another hole in there. Alright, have a coffee, scratch my head and get back to it. Right, let's focus. So I've opted for the cable modification. What I've done, I've simply added some solder to the cable, to the tip of it, and we'll see if that's enough to hold that in there, because I want to avoid really getting that on the TIG welder. It's quite fragile, so I don't want to burn through it or melt it or anything. Right, that fits in there fine now. That should hold it. Just like that. Okay, let's get it on. And there he is, just strung to the ceiling while I get this swing arm issue sorted out. Let's take a look. Okay, so we're in the room of doom, and I've put this little nut on here, so let me just focus, there we go. Right, so in there, I've got a little pointer. In there is the snapped bolt, and I need to get that out. There's a few ways of getting this out. First thing I'm going to do, I'm not going to try drilling it, because I need a very long drill bit to get into there to drill that out. I've not got one. The ultimate way I could get this out, which I've done before, is simply just cut through there, cut that out, rip out the old bolt, then TIG weld that back together, flatten it off, drill it, tap it, new bolt. Job's a good one. I don't want to do that, but I can do that. I've done it before, it's been very successful. So what I'm going to try to do here, because there's a little bit of thread left on it, I'm going to TIG weld that bolt to this nut. Hopefully that should heat it up enough just to try and expand it, that way I can just pull that out, but I'm guessing this is just going to break off. But we're going to give it a try anyway. Watch your eyes, everybody. one tight bastard. Oh dear. So I'm just going to have a quick look, see if I do have any drills to get into there. Now it's all flush, should be easy to drill out. So if not, then we'll just simply cut through here and TIG weld that back up. Bastard. Okay, that's all repaired. Thankfully, I rummaged through all my tools, my tap and die sets, and managed to get the tools I needed for this. And luckily, I did find a drill to drill that out. So that's all done. And I didn't have to weld it in the end. So I'm going to give this a clean up. I don't want it to go back on the bike like that. I might split this in half, the swing arm, and get some petrol and degreaser, or perhaps some dirt shifter on there to get rid of all this crappy chain lube and stuff. And I might even give this a good old polish up yet. But I did plan on building this bike up, trying to get it running correctly, and then going for a clean up on it. So I might just throw it back on with some new, where is it? I've also got a linkage bearing kit, because look at the state of that. Wow, that is bad. They look good actually, but I've got a replacement for that anyway. And they've deteriorated. There's no piece of them left, but the bushes that actually go in between here, I've ordered some nylon ones, because the original ones are like a little bit of, well, they feel like paper or something. So I'm going to get those replaced. Just waiting for those parts now. So in the meantime, I might just give this a little bit of a clean up, at least I'm in front then, get all this crap off it. Also give this a clean up under here, because it looks a right state. I don't like that at all. So I'm going to get some degreaser on here, cover it in dirt shifter, and perhaps a paintbrush and some petrol, something to get rid of all that crap before I put it back together. Working on this little beast in my RS125 Melee. I've not rode this bike at all this year because of the random freak weather we've had. I've done the fuel pump, the fuel hoses in the fuel pump. I've upgraded them. They weren't deteriorated, but they looked like they're starting to deteriorate to me. I've cleaned out the fuel pump, stuff like that. I've not done a video on it because there's quite a lot of videos on RSV work already online, and Griff from AP Workshops put videos out there, so he is the best person for that job to look at. I won't be showing you anything any different anyway, but I might try and get this bike out again this year before the bad weather sets in. I do love this bike, and it's a shame to keep it in here actually. I've barely used it this year. I've also put a standard silencer back on, just because the shotgun silencer which I fitted, my heel was catching here from my boot, so I need to extend the pipe there. I'm going to do a little bit more welding, do that, and also want to bring it closer to the seat unit, because it looked to me like it was low down. It wasn't in a good position. So I'll get that back on, do some work on that next, just when I finish the swing arm on the RS125, and I'll do a little video. How long have I had this now? I think I've had this about, is it just over 2 years? It's been a brilliant bike, absolutely brilliant bike. Not one problem with this. I can leave the battery to drain on it, charge that battery up, put some fuel in it, boom, it fires up like it's already warm. It runs like a dream, this bike. Okay, so let's get this RS125 back together, and hopefully we'll get out on this as well this year. Can't put the RS125 back together yet because I'm waiting for parts, aren't I? Right, so those parts hopefully should be arriving within the next couple of days. Then we'll get it back together and hopefully get it on the road, and I'll do a little video on it. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Please be patient with me. I will get this going. Alright, see you next time.